Happy NBA trade deadline week, Boston Celtics fans. If anything happens with the Boston Celtics this week, you know we are going to be on top of it. We want you guys to know anything that happens. Breaking news, trade rumors, nonetheless, we're going to have everything you need right here, so go on ahead and hit that sub button for me. A trade could be coming, so we're going to break down what a Boston Celtics trade by the NBA trade deadline would look like today on Celtics Today. I am your host, Allie Barefoot, and Brad Stevens. There has been some reports showing that he is looking into Andre Drummond, Delon Wright, and Kelly Olynyk, the former Boston Celtic. Some of these have been discussed prior to the NBA trade deadline, but now that's actually creeping up pretty close to the actual 2 p.m. Eastern Time deadline on Thursday. Well, Brad Stevens might want to make some moves. Let's go ahead and break down the actual report here. Michael Scotto did break down that the Celtics are looking to package some of their minimum contract players at the end of the rotation and draft pick compensation to bolster their bench heading into the playoffs, which is music to my ears. This is what the Boston Celtics have been needing to do since the regular season started. We know we have the best starting five, possibly the best starting six in the NBA right now. However, it kind of falls off pretty significantly when you do hit the bench, despite players like Luke Cornett and Sam Hauser. I do think they are still missing one big piece that could help, and I really don't believe it's any of these minimum contract players. O'Shea Brissett has made a name for himself in cleaning the glass. Delano Banton is a point guard in garbage time. Mykhailiuk never sees any time on the court, and Lamar Stevens only plays when Svi plays. So if you can get rid of these contracts, which is going to equal up to $6 million, you could possibly get another star to help you on your bench. Plus, Boston is stacked with draft capital. And most teams right now, all the reports that I've seen at least, all teams want at least one form of draft pick, whether it's a first, whether it's a second. And as you guys can see, we have plenty of first-round picks to give away, which is the number one thing teams are asking for right now. So I do want to break down what it would look like to send those three players, Andre Drummond, Delon Wright, Kelly Olynyk, or others, to the Boston Celtics roster before the NBA trade deadline. We're going to break that down here in just a few moments, but first, I want to hear from you guys, because this is why we have Celtics Today. We would not be a show unless you guys commented and shared your opinions with us. So, name a player you want the Celtics to trade for. It can be those three players I just mentioned. It can be somebody else. Go on ahead and comment it down below, and then keep watching throughout this video to see if we're thinking about the same thing, or if you like what I have to offer for the Boston Celtics. Because look, Kelly Olynyk has been on the top mind of Brad Stevens. He's been on his radar since the offseason. But Kelly Olynyk has this kind of poison pill just for the Boston Celtics in the sense that he's $12 million a year. In Boston Celtics, he played for him in 2013 through 2017, but he just might be a little bit too expensive for this Boston Celtics team. Because like I said, you've got 5 to 6 starters you got to pay for. Then after that, the next highest paid player after Al Horford is Payton Pritchard, and he's only $4 million. But thankfully, Kelly Olynyk is in the last year of his 3-year contract. He will be an unrestricted free agent this summer. He has a $12 million salary for the Utah Jazz, who have been kind of finding their consistency right now in the regular season. And Olynyk would play behind Porzingis. He would play behind Horford and possibly Cornett. So if I'm Kelly Olynyk and I'm playing pretty good minutes on the Utah Jazz right now, who seem to be winning, do I want to go to the Boston Celtics and possibly be their 4th string, maybe even their 3rd? I don't even know if Kelly Olynyk would want to come to the Boston Celtics right now. However, Brad Stevens is making a couple of phone calls to see if he would be a good fit. Now, here's the thing. It is possible, but there's always a but. Celtics could afford a $12.4 million player, which would be Olynyk, but reports have already stated that Boston really doesn't want to go over $10 million to avoid that tax apron. So they could possibly get Olynyk as a buyout, but that's still not looking very possible right now with how the Utah Jazz have been playing. So he's kind of got this tricky line to even obtain him. Plus, would you want to give up 4 to 5 players to try and equal a Kelly Olynyk salary? It seems a little bit too far out of reach right now, but it's okay if Kelly Olynyk can't come to the Boston Celtics during the regular season. If he does retain into the buyout market or the unrestricted free agent market this summer, you know Brad Stevens is going to be on top of it. But nonetheless, we've got two more players I want to break down for you guys here, and I want to get your thoughts because we've actually tweaked one of these trades to really help the Boston Celtics, and you're going to want to stick around for that. But first, I do want to tell you guys about Prize Picks. They make this show possible here on Celtics Today, and it is the most fun you are going to have playing a daily fantasy sports app. Take it from me. Take it from Smitty. We're playing this probably more than we should, but nonetheless, it's super easy. All you guys have to do is pick between 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats, and you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. It's literally that easy. It takes less than 60 seconds. You can do NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, collegiate, professional. There are so many players to choose from, but I went with the 3 most popular picks they have here on Prize Picks right now for tonight's NBA matches. I had DeJounte Murray having more than 11 rebounds and assists. Jonathan Kuminga, who's been popping off for the Warriors, with 19.5 points, and then De'Aaron Fox had more than 24.5 points. But life's too short. I always pick the more. You don't have to do that, but go on ahead and start making your Prize Picks right now to see which kind of picks you can make. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Be sure to use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100, and you get to watch yourself win some real money in real time. Delon Wright to the Boston Celtics. We already got Kristaps Porzingis from the Washington Wizards, but should we pick on their roster just a little bit more because reports are showing the Wizards do want a second-round pick compensation for an $8.1 million player. Now, same thing I just told you guys with Olynyk. $8 million is, yes, under 10, but keep in mind, it goes from Al Horford's $10 million to Payton Pritchard's $4 million. So it makes it a little bit tricky to hit that $8 million salary match. But nonetheless, let's break down what Wright could possibly do for the Boston Celtics if Brad Stevens decides to work his magic and bring him to the green. 4.5 points per game, 3 assists per game, 38% from the field, and 37% from the three-point line. Right off the bat, I think you keep Payton Pritchard over this guy. I think that his stats are nothing flashy. I think that, yes, he could possibly be a new name, shake it up a little bit for the season, how his ball handling skills have been, but he's only played 28 games so far this season. While Payton Pritchard may be pretty inconsistent, I do think I would personally rather have Payton Pritchard over Delon Wright because this isn't enough to move the needle. If you're going to trade away for a bench player, this needs to be in your first rotation. He needs to be the guy that is truly going to give Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, the rest of the starting 5 some rest. Not just coming in, and they're always in the negatives because they can't seem to help the Siebes win. Overall, with that being said, here's what it would look like to bring Delon Wright to the Boston Celtics. You can't use a $6.2 million TPE. You cannot trade any more than Al Horford or above, so you're going to have to go under Al Horford, and you're going to have to stack all of these contracts on top of each other. $4 million for Payton Pritchard, $2 million for Mykhailiuk, and $2 million for Lamar Stevens equals Delon Wright, and it's just not worth it. That's just my opinion, though. Here's why we asked you guys, because we want to hear what you guys have to say. We present the facts, and you guys answer. Is Delon Wright even worth a trade? I personally say no. Smitty, you say yes or no? He's shaking his head. Absolutely not. Possibly a buyout. But here's where your opinion matters. Type Y for yes. Type in for no, because we do still have one more player that I do want to talk about. And in my opinion, I think Smitty's opinion, this is the most realistic trade the Boston Celtics should do if they're going to trade for a big man. Andre Drummond fits the C's wants perfectly, and you can use the trade player exception from Grant Williams' $6.2 million. However, should Brad Stevens ask for a little bit more? The Bulls are collapsing right now. Zach LaVine's done. They now pretty much have DeRozan, Caruso, and Drummond that they're trying to leverage off to try and rebuild the Bulls right now. So if I'm Brad Stevens, yeah, Andre Drummond looks nice. But what about adding just a little bit more to that trade to really make the Boston Celtics dominant in the NBA? Stevens said he is willing to spend whatever it takes to win Banner 18. I know how you guys feel as well. It truly feels like this is our year to win Banner 18, and if we don't, I'm going to be very nervous as to when the Celtics will win that banner. So if Stevens is willing to pay whatever, then I say you package it all, you ship it off, and you see what you can get back. I created this trade right here because Andre Drummond would be perfect. He fits the TPE, but Alex Caruso is only $9 million. And if you're already looking to stack your minimum contract players, why not go all out for a defensive player and a big that you know are going to make the C's better, that are going to push the needle? Get Caruso, get Andre Drummond, give up Payton Pritchard. He's been a little bit inconsistent this year. Give up Mykhailiuk, who you never play anyway. Same thing with Lamar Stevens and Dalano Banton. A 2024 first round and a 2024 second round pick. Give up your assets for the future upcoming year. Spend this time to win right now. I'm not thinking about next season. I'm thinking about right now. So I believe Brad Stevens is as well. And I truly do think if you put Alex Caruso and Andre Drummond in that first rotation off the bench, that is going to give your starting five so much rest to come back in and continue to play more minutes, especially into the playoffs, which is the only thing Smitty and I are worried about right now. I don't know about you guys, but I think this trade pushes the needle. So here comes your turn. Would you guys accept the trade for Andre Drummond and Alex Caruso, and you give up multiple assets in 4 minimum contracts from the Boston Celtics? Type A for accept, type D for decline. Overall, I am expecting a trade by Thursday. I'm not sure who it's going to be yet. Brad Stevens has done crazier things. I can remember I was sitting at a bar back in September saying there's no way in hell Brad Stevens is going to try and get Jrue Holiday. Boom, Jrue Holiday's on the Celtics. So Brad Stevens is a man of his own, and I do think he could still be active in the buyout market, so don't panic if the C's do not trade for anybody, because the buyout market could have a lot of options for Brad Stevens to move some things around, but I think it's pretty evident the C's need just a little bit more help on their road to Banner 18. And if that does happen, you know we're going to tell you everything you possibly could know about the Boston Celtics news, rumors, breaking news. You're going to have it right here. I don't want you to miss a single thing because we're going to be having a hectic week, and we want you guys to be a part of it. So go on ahead, jump on the train, and hit that subscribe button.